the word entrepreneurship means many things to many different people. Some equate it with innovation, but what really is the definition of entrepreneurship?
Well, I define entrepreneurship as having four components. It's the contrarian perception, creation, and capture of extraordinary value. So the perception of extraordinary value is the belief or the pursuit of what a lot of us consider to be opportunity. We think, in contrary to what other people think, that we can turn this particular asset, this particular product, into something that people will buy. Let's say a new way of making automobiles, for example. And we can turn that into something valuable. And that's the second component, is the actual creation, the tangible creation of value, or the creation of tangible value, such that, and that's usually has to do with the market exchange. If I've taken a bunch of metal and plastic and rubber and put it into, that doesn't cost me very much, let's say, and I put it into something that actually takes you from point A to point B, that you'll pay me a lot more for than what it cost me to make, that's the creation of extraordinary value, and that's usually a market exchange. But that's not enough. Although a lot of people end the definition of entrepreneurship there at the creation of value, I think it's very important that the entrepreneur both perceive and hopefully capture for themselves some extraordinary value. The entrepreneur's job isn't finished when the value is created for somebody else. It's very important for the entrepreneur, partly for the entrepreneur's motivation, and because it's a lot of work to be an entrepreneur. It's a lot of work to go against the market, to defy conventional wisdom, to do something that other people think maybe is worthless, impossible, or stupid, turned into something worthwhile, possible, and smart. It takes a lot of energy and time, effort, and risk to do that, so that the prospect of personal gain is a very critical element of the whole entrepreneurship equation. Now, that doesn't mean that all gain has to be exactly financial gain, but it's very easy to delude yourself into thinking that you've created value that's not financial when you really haven't. It's very easy to delude yourself that you've captured value when you haven't. So I think when we're talking about non-financial motivation or non-financial entrepreneurship, non-business entrepreneurship, the burden of proof is on the entrepreneur to prove that he or she has actually created tangible extraordinary value and captured tangible extraordinary value for themselves. Because the delusion is, or the confusion is, between the consumption of value and the creation of value. And that may sound like two opposite things, but they can get easily confused. The consumption of value is when I take a $20 bill and I buy dinner with it, or I go to a movie with it. That's the consumption of value. I've consumed that value. Well, a lot of so-called social entrepreneurship really is the consumption of value. It's fun. It's interesting. It feels good to the person consuming the value, just such as eating a good dinner or going to a good movie, feels really good, but it's not oftentimes. In fact, I would argue almost always, it's not entrepreneurship. It's not the creation and capture of extraordinary value.